while with me, laugh and drink and say there was something, but you say there was nothing, but you say it with a smile.
Whoa! Hey everyone, welcome to the Fifth Quarter Fantasy Cast. I'm your host, Coach V, and I'm joined by my pals and co-hosts, Dr. Dry and Peepaw. Well, welcome back to the Fifth Quarter Fantasy Cast. It's another great week. A lot of excitement is happening. Some leagues you might be like 1 or 2 weeks away from the playoffs starting. Some leagues you might be 3 or 4 weeks. But either way, you're closing in. You're running out of time to dig your way out of last place. And, you know, the folks in first, second, you might be unable to fall out of playoff contention at this point. So you just start coasting at this point. So either way, how was y'all's week of fantasy action?
Of my 3 leagues, I've only got a shot in 1 league. The others I'm pretty much toasting. I don't want to steal thunder away from someone in this room for the achievements they were able to be blessed with this weekend. So I'll save that. The other 2 leagues are still not great. I need to keep telling myself these guys are primed for success. It is not my fault. It is their fault. Go out and do better. They need some kind of different pep talk. I'm not sure what it is, but I could have put almost all my roster in the bed this week. So if that's any indicator how I've been doing this entire season, we'll let it stand at that. So it's a love-hate relationship. It's more on the hate side this season so far. But Doc, how are you doing this past week?
My future's so fucking bright I have to wear shades. We put up 211 points, shattering the old league record of 169 nice points. And anyway, it was wild. It was out of control. Nobody could stop us, not even a certain co-host. And anyway, but I had lost to you guys multiple times this year. I don't think I've beaten anyone. I don't think I've beaten you guys at anything this year. So I guess I was just saving it all for this one game. And you know, honestly, my tight end was injured, so I picked up shitty Taysom Hill, and the laziest pickup you can have, but also the smartest. You know, 42 million fantasy points, and then you know I could have entered this lineup into a multi-millions and won the whole thing. It was insane. I had St. Brown, Tyreek Hill getting a little bit going there. I had Juwan Jennings. I had there's someone else. Oh, Joe Mixon, old man Joe, getting me like 35. It was out of control, but anyway, best 4-6 team I've ever seen. so now we move into fifth place, and so lots of big things happening. And then in other leagues, I'm 10-1 in one dynasty. We're on a 9-game win streak, and this is where I get worried because I always do that every year in that league. I think I've finished 11-3 and 12-2 in 2 years in that league, and this one I don't want to go in with a 12-game win streak. It's too risky because then you got to win like 15 in a row, and that's unheard of. So anyway, could dial it back a little bit there. I lost a key matchup in the Butt Cheese Boy Invitational, dropping to 3-8. So that's rough. Other than that, though, I mean, I have Joe Mixon in 5 out of 6 leagues. I had a feeling about him this year, and he's primed, and ready to pork. So anyway, we got the train rolling this week. Had some big wins in the church league. Praise Christ. You know, we're looking at in another league. We're hugging that second seed, hoping for a bye. Really, it's just my own dynasty league that I'm not making the playoffs in. So we'll see if we can turn that around. But it was overall a fun week, fun weekend too. Vinny and I we took the families too. It wasn't like a date or anything, but We went to Indianapolis and stayed in the Sobro Butt Cheese Bungalow. It was an Airbnb. Smelled like mold and mildew whenever we got in there. We got used to it. My toddler got sick. We had to take a midnight trip to a really shady Walmart. Anyway, it was a fun time though. It was a good day trip. Definitely worth it. Coach B, how was your weekend?
My weekend sucked. I went on this trip with these pieces of shit. No, it was really fun. We had a good time. I stole some gum from Walmart, but
yeah.
I didn't steal it. Like someone had already opened the pack of gum, and it was just like at the register, and there was just like individual pieces of gum open and ready, and it was like, I'm just going to take a few. Someone already took a few. It's at this point it's community gum, and so I took a couple pieces of gum, and it was tasty gum. I had mine on the ride home. Dr. Dry had his immediately. He wasn't an accomplice to the crime. He just ate the gum. So
you went. We got 2 steps out of Walmart, and you bring this gum out real quick out of your pocket, and you're like, "Hey, you want a piece of gum? I stole it." And I'm like, "Yeah."
Was this wrapped or unwrapped?
It was wrapped.
Oh,
what is that
stole
gum?
the wrapper too. Bubble Yum.
Bubble Yum. So just I took 2 little squares of Bubble Yum.
That's the stuff that loses its flavor after 2 chomps.
Yeah, but those 2 chomps,
they're really good.
Tasty. So
Worth
that was
every bite.
fun. You know, my fantasy teams went 1-1. I lost to Joseph Marie Bennett by 2.5 points, and that really sucked. Thanks, Nico. Thanks, Stroud, for tossing so many touchdowns last night. So, but yeah, so we're good and we're rolling, and I'm like, and I beat the number 1 in the butt cheese.
Number 1. You're the.
We both put up. We together put up the lowest 2-point totals in the league, but I put up 1 less point, or how many less points than he did. So it was crazy how the 1 and 2, the big juggernaut matchup, both had a cheese day. So that was crazy how he scored less than 100, I think. I put up 111, and we traditionally have been playing really well. So yeah, but we got to move on to some awards. Our first award is "'Tis the Season." And we thought about, there's another version of this award that we talked about on our midnight run to Walmart, equal to the Hillshire Farm cheese and cracker and sausage gift basket. That is, and I hate you gift, or I don't know who you are gift at best. There's the Axe body spray soap combo gift set, which is usually really close to the Hillshire Farm. Yes.
The Stetson cologne set.
Who's the cowboy?
I don't know, Kid Rock or someone.
Is that yeah? So yeah, I mean, basically, almost worse than the Hillshire Farm gift basket disappointment. The Stetson set says, "I don't like you and you stink." So that kind of fits. It might be a better fit for this player who is the one who disappointed you this week. So who disappointed y'all this week?
Who didn't disappoint me? Is another question. Mine this week was Debo. It just seems like he's off more than he's been on this season. He had 7 targets, which was nice to see, but only 4 receptions for a whopping 22 yards. That's not going to cut it, spoiler alert. It almost seems like this is Jawan's team at wide receiver right now, with no Ayuk, and last week with Kittle being down. So it's making me question. I have a share in him, and it's making me question whether I can start him, but his big play potential is always there. So, he was sitting at 6.2 points, depending on which format of league you're in, but obviously not a great week by any stretch of the imagination. But boy, go hit the showers and use that Axe body spray because you stink.
Nice. Way to already incorporate the sponsor in. That's
Yeah.
really good.
That's like the teenage boy locker room spray.
Yeah, I guess my Stetson Stanko butt of the week would be, or disappointment, would be Kirk Cousins. No, you expect him to do better. He's so hit and miss. He feels really weird to start. I think he's a spot start kind of guy. He flashed some potential at age 36, but he gets shut down too often. The whole offense gets shut down. And then another one that I'm concerned about. You're starting him, but you're starting him, but CD Lamb. He looked so defeated last night. And he's always going to put up his 15 to 20. And he may occasionally get in that end zone, but you can tell he's like, man, fuck Cooper Rush. I don't want to, I don't want him as my quarterback. He's missing him left and right. And so CD Lamb is on my Hillshire basket of disappointment / Stetson Stanko Butt Award this week.
It's so sad to see CD in that situation. I don't know. I don't think he's ever played on a Cowboys team that is just completely out of contention at this point. They've been out of contention for a while. So we'll see how he deals with just his team not being relevant at all.
And I talked about it a lot. Like I talked about it a lot with Devontae Adams last year. He ended up playing through. He's kind of a badass. But CeeDee Lamb, I'm not sure if he has all that in him to keep going. Like I think if he gets one of those little hammy pulls or something that he could play through, he might choose not to because why get hurt? So anyway, and he's been paid now, so what does he care?
I was gonna say, he ended up getting paid, right?
Yeah, big time.
Okay.
Yeah, so no incentive for CD. So yeah, I think the fear is warranted on CD. Mine is just kind of a big waiver disappointment. So many people rushed to the waiver wire last week for Audric Estime. Everyone thought we got the Broncos backfield figured out. And Estime, really not his fault in a sense. Like he was just the target of everyone. And really everyone just jumped the gun on thinking they got the Broncos backfield figured out. They don't. And I think it's unfigure-outable at this point. So anyways, Audric Estime let a lot of people down. There were some, strategic waiver wire or some strategic people on bye, like Rashad White, who wasn't out there, and someone may have had Estime in their starting lineup, and it did not work out this week. So that's why he's my Hillshire boy. Don't with the Broncos backfield. I think that's the moral of the story.
Do you think Sean Payton takes a look at the start percentages for his backfield before the game? He said, who got started the least? I'm going to play them the most this week. And he just flip-flops it depending on what the start percentage is. Yeah. That's what it seems like. Because
he's there to help your bench. He's there to help your bench out.
I think they need like a ride share where like 3 out of the 4 running backs are all in one car and that car wrecks. And then the one is the only one left. And you can then start that running back. But
survival. It's survival.
If everyone's alive and on the sideline, I wouldn't do it. And so there you go.
All right. Well,
situation, but with just running backs, and one of them crawls away.
And I think we overestimated Audric Estime. It's one of those, you like the situation, maybe not so much the talent. Quick poll, since so many people are tuned in right now, who is your favorite running back out of the Denver Broncos backfield? Mine's still Javonte Williams. I did pick him up and started him this weekend. Or I had him. He was someone that I wasn't starting, but bye weeks made me have to start him, and it worked out. But Javonte, that's my boy out of the 4 or so running backs. Who's y'all's favorite?
I actually dropped Javonte in 2 of the leagues for Estime and started Estime because of other bye weeks and such, and that didn't go so hot. So looking at the top waiver claims for this week and seeing Javonte sitting up high, I'm like, ooh, that burns. I really like Jaleel last year. He hasn't been really given the chance much to do anything this year, but I still really liked his abilities. I still want to see what Estimate can do, but it's anyone's guess.
Yeah. I mean, Jaleel's like the coolest one, but nothing's
Like
happening.
Marion Barber.
Yeah.
Yeah. So nothing's happening there though. Like, so I mean, Javonte's someone you could just sit on your bench, and if maybe he scores 10 plus points 2 weeks in a row, maybe you start him on that third week. But outside of that, it'd be really hard to trust.
Yeah, pretty much. Superfan Matt has chimed in. Yeah, we went over that. He's been through enough.
The assault continues.
Yeah.
All right. So our second Angry Award is the Sleep Number Shit the Bed Award. So who is, even stinkier than the Stetson Stinko butt for y'all this week?
Oh.
All right, you do it.
Wrestling.
Yeah. Where is week 11 on here?
Front and center up top.
Look at those handsome fellers. My boy sitting in the middle, Russ. Funny how we praise him a little bit, and he was primed, absolutely primed for a jacked performance, just like I am right now. He playing against one statistically the best defense for quarterbacks to play against to get the most points. We saw what Joseph Burrow did last week and absolutely destroyed. And Russell was only able to complete 23 of 36 passes for just over 200 yards with one interception and no touchdowns. So that's fantastic. I think everyone who had him was starting him and was absolutely let down to the most extreme levels that you probably could be in for this week. So I just think the expectations were too high, but statistically on paper it was there. So I started him over CJ Stroud, which wasn't too much of an improvement, but Russ is still the one at the end of the day who is laying in the sheets that are getting pretty brown stained at this point in the season.
And yeah, I know. I second that. I started Russell in probably 3 or 4 leagues. He was ready, man. He was primed and jacked, and he just didn't do anything. Chris Boswell's presence was a little too big, I think, and he had to live in his shadow. Just couldn't overcome Chris Boswell shining. So yeah, I mean, you got Russell Wilson. Just it should have been, and I was expecting big things from George Pickens. I was stacking them in different places, and anyway, they just for whatever reason the Ravens defense got good for a week, and so that was weird. Week 11, let's hide. My sleep number hit the bed award winner, and I'm surprised he's not on here because he's been pooping it every week. He's been missing the toilet, ricocheting onto the bed, and somehow he just keeps falling off. But you can't hide anymore, buddy. Jalen Waddle, you are officially in the bed. You're sandwiched between Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, and you've officially pooped yourself. I think he's droppable in like a regular season league.
Yeah.
He scores 6. If he goes off, he's getting 7 or 8 points. So not something that you're necessarily looking forward to. But anyway, Jalen Waddle.
Well, I was surprised Aaron Rodgers wasn't on this S&B award this year, and I'm looking around, I don't see him anywhere.
Nope.
So I don't know. I just thought it would be fun to like rub salt in his wound. So that's pretty much sums it up. It's just like, dude, like you suck. Your team sucks. They gave you everything you wanted. They fired your coach. They brought in every person you wanted, and everything still sucks. So I think it's just fun. I think we're kind of tired of Rodgers, tired of fantasy-wise, tired of like dealing with the potential. What if he could regain his old form? Like we're tired of just like dealing with that, trying to figure out is this going to happen or not. So it'd be really great if he's just done. And then he's just like, I could play another 5 years. It's like, please don't. Just please don't. Just stop. But someone will take a chance on him, whether it's the Jets or someone else. Someone will take a chance on him, even if it's just for the celebrity factor of having Rodgers on your team. So, but it's just nice that he sucks. And I don't think many people are contemplating starting him anymore. So, yeah. So
I've got some honorable
he's nothing
mentions.
more than a common butt cheese boy.
Well placed.
I've got a couple honorable mentions that didn't quite make it, but we're on the cusp of it. Ricky Pearsall. I took that boy off my taxi squad. And you know how he repays me for like honoring him by doing that? I'm like, you've been elevated in my heart through your performances this past week. So what does he do? He takes a big old dump on my head. And that was also in the league I lost to the dock in. And, you know, scoring a 0 ain't going to get you to 200 anytime soon. The other was Terry McLaurin. I had the guy in my flex last week. He was showing off. He was a man last week. He's a child this week. 2
Big
points.
baby.
2 points. I'm like, and the worst part is I was debating between starting him and Jawan Jennings. And I decided to go with Terry. I'm like, Terry's been balling out this season. How do you bench the dude? And he rewards me with a 1-catch performance. The worst part about that was he played Thursday, so I had to see those 2 points in my starting lineup and see Jawan sitting on my bench for like those 3 or 4 days before the end of the week was up, and that really hurts. So
you had to sit in the bed.
Yeah, and I had to sit there with him and see it. So Terry was wide receiver 90 this week. Congratulations. Once did I say how awful my season's going? This just adds to it. So we can move on. Those are my 2 honorable mentions. Congratulations.
Right. Okay, we got to get Peeps feeling better. This will help. So we have our 11th McNugget Award. Who was your that McDonald's picture? Is so
Isn't that cool? He's like, hey, yo!
It looks like he just saw someone he knew from class. And he's like, hey. That's so good.
You like that?
That's so good. That's great. I mean, McDonald's should be into that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think that's a good image for that. That isn't it. That's not a wig either. I think that's his hair. Like whoever this guy is.
His hair's like a little fucked up. Like he's been just hanging out all day. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. What's up with it?
My 11th McNugget is going out to who did I make my 11th? Which one's mine? I've already forgotten who my 11th McNugget is.
Ronald.
You got the guy on the left, not Ronald.
Was Richardson? Richardson's my McNugget, right?
No,
that's Josh Downs.
That's
idiot.
Josh Downs, my boy.
Oh, I'm jacked up, man. Oh yeah. So Josh Downs.
Ronald really got you going, didn't he?
Right. I think Josh Downs is quarterback proof. That's like the craziest thing to say, but that was why he made the list for me. Was when I was thinking through it this morning, I was like, that's kind of cool. Like you don't think of a random receiver for the Colts who isn't really considered their number one to be quarterback proof, but he's more quarterback proof than Michael Pittman. He's more quarterback proof than anyone else on that team. So Josh Downs, way to go. He's always there for the long, crazy ball from Anthony Richardson. But we need to put that video up of Anthony Richardson throwing you some passes at the park this weekend. And then he threw me a pass at the park, I think, So yeah, great video. Just playing some catch with Anthony Richardson. Yeah.
It went over your head, didn't it?
Yeah, most
Yeah.
definitely. I
You
was running
knew.
a simple curl route, and he threw it 50-something yards down the field. But Josh Downs is there to get underneath it and catch it and actually make something happen. So thanks, Josh Downs, for being a great receiver, whether it's Old Man Joe or it's Anthony Richardson. So yeah, play Josh Downs if you got him.
That slot position, he's just so damn good at it. I mean, he is. I think that's probably what makes him that, is just a slot dude. He is amazing at it. So,
He's a
I got
slot
two
stud.
nominees. Christopher Boswell. Must we?
It's good.
It's never
We mentioned him last week. This dude is a dude of all kickers. Russ and him can't both ball out each week, so Russ was given the Axe body spray packet this week, and Chris was receiving a platter of caviar, whatever he likes to indulge himself in. Made all 6 of his attempts, and with 3 of them from 50-plus yards. You know, there's a problem with the team when you have a kicker who gets every point twice in one season. But you know what? If you love kickers like I do, that's great, because Chris Boswell, you're the man. Reppin'. Cortland Sutton, he didn't have a stellar week. He had a pretty good week. I mean, for all intents and purposes, 7 receptions, 78 yards. I really am giving a shout out to the Broncos in the whole. I called earlier this season. I'm like, Broncos are the team that I want to see perform well this season. They seem like your feel good story for the season. Currently, he's wide receiver 15 on the league before their bye game, or the bye week rather. So he's been doing pretty dang well for how low he's been performing over the past couple seasons. Obviously, some inconsistency with quarterback play right there, but Denver in a whole, except for the running back room, of course, doing pretty dang well, and happy to see them performing. So those are my 2 nominees this week.
Good luck out west, Cortland. I got the guy that everybody wishes they had this week. Taysom Hill, waiver wire pickup of the century, 42
The quarterback
points.
or tight end?
Either one, whatever you want to do. He got both on the sleeper award. So yeah, I mean, absolutely insane. A 75-yard touchdown. I've never seen a white man run that fucking fast before. So and I felt just like our boy Ronald McDonald right there whenever he did that. I was like, hey yo. So that's how I felt. I did. Luckily it didn't mess me up too bad. I still got the win in this one league, but last second I had Hill in the lineup, and then I was pooping in Indianapolis, and in that smelly basement, and I thought I'd do a stinker tinker, and I moved Hill out and I put Dawson Knox in. Glad I did that so I could get his 8 points. But luckily we got the win. I'll never do that again, Taysom Hill. Anyway, he might be it's a new coaching change. Maybe we see a little more of Taysom Hill. Who knows? But anyway, Taysom, have my baby. You welcome to the 11th McNugget.
So as a Taysom Hill owner, what are you going to do with him from here on out? Are you going to continue starting him, or what are you going to do?
I don't know, because he could get 3 points next week. So you
His
never
score
know.
is so
But
low.
yeah, I mean, I
I
don't know.
think
I think it depends on your tight end situation. If you have no one better, screw it. Like, just keep him out there. Like, if you have one of those tight ends who scores 6 to 8 points, Jalen Waddle numbers every week, then roll him out. If you don't, like example, Dalton Kincaid, huge disappointment on the God Squad, doesn't belong there. Maybe I throw Taysom Hill in moving forward until he proves me otherwise, like next week. But who knows?
I think there's more confidence this year around Taysom Hill than there's ever been, even before the big game. And he hadn't really done anything. but I don't know. I've felt better about putting him in my lineup this year than I have in the past. I think it's just because the Saints just have no weapons right now. Outside of Kamara. And I guess MVS, who's 2 weeks in a row with a long touchdown. But start him. That's crazy. But yeah, I don't know why. There's just a different feeling about Hill this year. It's always been, man, just throw him in if you don't have anyone. But now it's like, well, maybe the offense runs through Hill. Maybe they win football games when he does well. So anyways, there you go.
Taysom, a.k.a. Tyreek Hill.
The better T. Hill.
The better T-Hill.
So, well, we got one more. We got to get those boys and their guns and their abs and their traps and their buys and their tries. It's the Weights for Men flex of the week. So, who do you want to brag about this week?
That handsome fellow in the middle, Jared Goff, working on the hairdo. My goodness gracious. Loving that one. That look he got going on. He, for all intents and purposes, I understand they played against a poor defense and a poor team in general. You're expected to whoop up on this team. I believe the spread before the game started was somewhere in the vicinity of 15 points. So they far and exceeded that. But they went out there, got business taken care of. Almost every single fantasy relevant dude on the team scored a touchdown. Love to see that. He threw for 412 yards with 4 touchdowns, 21 rushing yards on 4 attempts. Dude's a speedy McGee out there. Can't stop him. Lightning McQueen. And I love the fact there's we're not playing the mercy rule in this game because we just want to keep the hammer down and we don't care what the final score is. As fantasy players, we love that. So, good for Detroit. Good for Jared Goff. Love to see it. Keep it up.
Jared Goff.
Jared Goff.
I got that Flamin' Hot Cheeto head ass over on the right. We got Dewan Jennings. Love the hair. Had to throw the Cheetos on top just to make it extra crispy, extra tasty for his flex this week. So anyway, real proud of him. He was a waiver wire that I believe Peepaw was on very first this year out of the 3 of us, and took that advice, picked him up, and started him. He's been just he does so well. He's only pooped the bed I think once. Most of the time he's doing other things in that bed. He's in the competition. So he is someone I'm extremely proud of. I'm proud to put him as my flex of the week.
Yeah, I like Jawan Jennings. We like him for a lot of reasons, being a boy from our town. So mine's Bo Nix, who has just been steadily improving week after week after week. The Broncos got to be really happy when you look at just all the rookie quarterbacks this year who have started or have started and already been pulled out of their games. Bo Nix is just steadily getting better and better. And I have him on a taxi squad on a team where I have Jalen Hurts, so he'll probably just stay on taxi squad. But I like knowing that, I got a guy here and or maybe some draft capital there for future folks who might want a quarterback. But yeah, he's just getting better, and the Broncos are looking better. And it's nice to have Drake May's been a nice story. It's nice to have some young quarterbacks excelling in their first year and opening up that pool of potential pickups for your playoffs. For people who might go off the last 3-4 weeks of the season who could win a championship for you. I approve. So yeah.
I love Bo Nix.
That's my flex of the week. So waivers. Who are your waiver pickups this week?
Going back to what you just mentioned about these rookie quarterbacks, I think once the Bears clean house with their coaching staff, I think Caleb Williams is going to have a decent shot. We saw a little bit of an uptick in their offense this past week. You really wonder if it's a lot of it just the coaching styles and these quarterbacks got paired up with that's making them exceed. But just to piggyback on that, it's just good to see Bo Nixon excelling this season towards learning and progressing throughout the season. Segues right into the waivers. Bo Nix, depending which league you're in, he's still unrostered in about 40% of leagues.
Whoa.
So QB7 on the season, should not be sitting out on waivers. Pick him up if you got the space. Dump whoever you got that's QB 16 or whatever it is. I know they haven't had their bye week yet, but still, take a look, see if he's out there. Quentin Johnston, unrostered 42% of leagues. Him and the entire Chargers offense have been clicking here in the past couple weeks. You got Justin Herbert who's feeling himself. He said, I can sling this ball. I can do this still. So Quentin Johnston's out there. Take a hard look at him if you have the roster space for it. The other one I want to mention are once again I mentioned last week, the handcuff running backs. Trey Benson, Cardinals backup Blake Corum, backup for Kyron with the Rams. Jalen Warren probably not there, but if he is there, take a look. Another note is to look at the teams who are getting closer to either out of playoff contention or the teams who have already clinched playoffs and they're going to kind of ease their way into the playoffs. Some of these star players that you've been starting all season are going to get a little bit of a break. You're going to get these other guys that are backups, traditionally not playing as much, coming in, getting some more playing time. So, say you have Derrick Henry, relied on him all season. Maybe take a look at some other backups or his backups to throw in and start instead of him. Maybe not getting the same workload he used to if they're trying to ease him in towards the postseason and keep him healthy. So those are my tips and tricks and waiver pickups.
All right.
I just have Curtis Samuel if he's available out there. He may have been a product of no Kincaid and no Coleman, but maybe not. And so if he's out there, Curtis Samuel. And then there was another running back I was thinking about. Oh, no, it wasn't. I guess we need to contemplate starting Nick Westbrook again from the Titans at this point. He scores a lot of touchdowns. And so, he's out there. Trust me. He's on your way. So, but maybe he won't be after this week because I think he started. At least it sounds like the consensus is building that it's like, hey, oh my God, don't make him my favorite. That guy. I would never. Just for the principle of it, I'd be like, I'm not starting Nick Westbrook again. I'm not doing it. Like, it's just not going to happen for me. He's been sick of this touchdown in my life for so long that I just can't. I wouldn't know what to do if he scored and he was actually on my team. So, But yeah, he's probably out there and he is scoring like a touchdown almost every week this year. So probably worth looking at.
Isn't it like he has 15 catches on the year, but 5 of them are touchdowns?
Like insane numbers.
That sounds like MVS.
Yeah. So I've got 3 nasty ones here for really deep leagues. Well, one of them not so much. Jonnu Smith with the Dolphins. He's actually like number 1 on like add this guy like on sleeper. But he's the number 8 tight end, and he's starting to just get more and more involved. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe to his last concussion, he thinks he's throwing it to Waddle, but he's throwing it to Jonnu Smith or something. So, and he just doesn't see it. Like I don't know if like Tua's all messed up and thinks he needs to be throwing to Jonnu Smith, but whatever. So if you need a tight end, he's a good one. Now, if you are in like a 20-team league or something like that, Luke Schoonmaker is available. The Schoon Squad. He's got lay one down for the Schoon. He is Turd Ferguson's backup in Dallas, and he got 10 targets last night. So I mean, he got like 11 points. He's nothing special, but he could be special for you. And then a really, really deep ad for if you're in a 24-team league, Tyquan Thornton, who used to be on the New England Patriots, has been picked up by the Kansas City Chiefs and put on their practice squad, if you're into that sort of thing. So anyway, don't start him, but you never know. Like, I don't know. He could. I know he flashed a little bit in New England, but now you got to ask yourself. Speaking of flashing, are you going to expose yourself to Tyquan Thornton? And that's doctor's orders. You better do it.
I think I'll unexpose myself to Pat Fryermuth and expose myself to Taekwondo. How about that? That's what I'll do. So we got our matchups, our Week 12 preview. So we're going to start I guess the NFL does it on purpose, but a lot of good divisional games at the end of the year to make it exciting for folks. So our first one is Broncos and Raiders. That's your Sunday afternoon game. Broncos riding high, feeling good. Bo Nix looking good. Still don't know what to do with that backfield. Gardner Minshew will be starting at least another week, so it's like week to week with the Raiders. There was some fear that Desmond Ridder was going to get started this week, and all the Brock the Cock Bowers owners were like, "No, fuck, please don't." And so thankfully, and that sucks. Like Taysom Hill did steal all the shine from Brock Bowers, who had a terrific week and is an actual tight end who just plays tight end all day. And so it did suck that Taysom took all that shine from him. So anyways, we got Gardner Minshew. We got Bo Nix. We got all the heavy hitters in NFL football. What do y'all think about this matchup?
You try to dress it up, but it still ain't sexy. I think the only real player to talk about is from the Raiders here is how much of a dude that Brock Bowers is. I mean, he's probably arguably top 3 tight end, if not higher, in the NFL. Love to see it. Just like last year, we had a rookie tight end with Laporta taking over the league. So rookie tight ends getting it done. Love to see that. You're starting him, keep him, safeguard him. He is your guy you hold close to your chest. Don't let him go. He's your child. Nurture him. Yes. Nurture him. Let him grow up big and strong. Drink that milk.
Use a nipple guard.
Yeah.
You
don't want chafed nipples.
No.
No.
And get him a tater sack. He'll go right to sleep.
You gotta put. I learned this weekend that you put your kid in a tater sack when they go to bed. I didn't know that kids got into tater sacks before bed, but that's what you do.
Here's the fucked up part. They have weighted tater sacks too. So
what?
Those tater sacks, it's got like these beads in there, and it's to create the illusion that like someone's holding you, and or like someone's got their hand on you. So that's for like the super babies. So we're past that with mine, but yeah, get yourself a tater sack.
Brock Bowers is past that too, if you want. But really, he's probably the only one you're starting from the Raiders. Bo Nix, I mean, I probably feel safe to start him, depending on who your other quarterback is against the Raiders defense this week. And I don't know if I'm starting anyone from that backfield. They terrify me. Don't know who's going to be the starter for them. And throw Cortland Sutton out there, and I think you are good to check out from this game after that.
Yep. Bo Nix, QB number 7. I think, unless you have like Hurts or something. That's who you're firing up. Brought the Cock Bowers is the entire offense. And that's about everything. Yeah, this is a weird one to preview. I think it looked cooler whenever we were thinking about it.
But it's a divisional game. You never know.
Oh yeah, that's special.
Isn't there some doubt about the backfield for the Raiders this week?
Yeah, there were some injuries going on. Zamir White, I believe, as well as Madison are injured, and Amir Abdullah, a bunch of career backups.
Yeah.
So do you think Dylan Labe is going to get a shot?
Yeah, because I went to check and see if I could get Dylan Labe, and I was like, damn it.
You can get him for 3 first-round picks if you're lucky. No, so Dylan, he got an opportunity one time and he fumbled it on his first carry, and he has not seen the field since. So he needed these injuries. Well, that's exciting. I'm glad we're looking at that. I'm glad to know I got him on some taxi squad somewhere.
Yeah, so that's the intrigue. You might get to take a look at your boy Dylan Lube this weekend.
Lube him up.
Yeah, make sure he's lubed.
I believe I also heard Bidet is fixing to come back. So
there you go.
Batty?
Yeah, Bidet. Yeah.
Bidet.
Yeah.
Etienne.
But significantly better.
Matchup number 2, 49ers and Packers. Classic, exciting matchup. This one, J Love threw 17 times last week. I don't know if you know about that. But so it's kind of a terrible theme this year. Teams doing just enough to win. And the Packers might be becoming one of those teams. So that's worrying. And then the 49ers just, not just Debo, the whole squad just looks off, Like, I don't know if they really are missing Ayuk, or is it McCaffrey's, they're still monitoring his touches or whatnot. But the thing isn't clicking right. So you got one team who's coming off of, a really low output for fantasy, and then another team who's just looking a little bit off. Who are you trusting this week on these two squads?
I'd be trusting Jaden Reed. I think he's a weekly starter for sure, regardless. I can't really trust any other Packer wide receiver outside of him. It is kind of an anomaly with 49ers. I definitely don't think it's Ayuk. It's Juwan Jennings has been out, putting it out for him. He's been the dude. I'd like to see all of their guys get back healthy on the field, see what they can do. I think assuming everyone's healthy, they can roll over the Packers. So interesting to see the Packers are favorite in this game, but 49ers have seemed to find a way to lose quite a bit of games this season. So there leaves a lot to be interested in watching this game to see what happens and see who performs, I'll say. I saw Brock Purdy showed up on the injury report today, I believe. So something to monitor for that, just to see how healthy he is coming in the weekend. Should be able to play this week. I believe he was day to day. So hopefully he's able to play and we can get a good showing for that entire offense.
I'm rolling with the Packers on this one. The Fudge Packers are going to do what they do best, and so Jordan Love is someone that I definitely trust. He's had his ups and downs this year, been a little injured, but if it's in Green Bay, right?
Yes.
Fantastic, because that's great. I feel like they do play better at home. I know Jordan Love, like I benched him because of matchup last week in favor of Mr. Unlimited Russell Wilson, and that was a big mistake. But whatever, still won my game. So, but it could have been really bad. Jordan Love 20+ points on the bench. That was against Chicago's #1 ranked fantasy defense. So I'm not really afraid of any of the other matchups or anything like that. Unless maybe the Steelers. Those seem to be field goal festivals. So I would avoid him against the Steelers if they were playing them. But yeah, I'm firing up the Packers. I never know what to think about the Niners. I don't know. I guess CMC's back. You're firing up Juwan. I don't know. Debo, I feel like, is just so up and down. It's so volatile. Yeah, I mean, yeah, go Pack on this one.
I'm throwing Kittle out there if he's active. Debo, take a look at your other options. Definitely starting Juwan based on the way he's been playing. So, that's my 2 cents for it.
All right. Matchup number 3, Eagles and Rams. Eagles and Rams, that's your Sunday night game. The Rams are resurging. They're at full strength. They're looking better. Eagles coming off a win, but not an exciting win for fantasy-wise outside of, Hurts was a little bit down, nothing for Devontae. Saquon got his, and Brown did well, but kind of like a half and half. So how are you? I think the main question is, how do you feel about the Rams offense moving forward at full strength? Do you like everybody? Is there anyone you don't like on that offense when they're at full strength?
When they're at full strength, they're like a sneaky good team, and their defense is progressing throughout the season as well. Gerard Verse, or however you say his first name, but Verse, edge or line, whatever position he plays, he's been playing a lot better here recently. The line seems to have figured it out since the beginning of the season, the offensive line for the Rams. So when they're firing on all cylinders, it's good to see. Puka's been in and out with some injuries, concerns, and scares. So hopefully he's able to keep moving. And my underrated performer of the Halloween episode, Kyron Williams, just keep on chugging, don't get injured, knock on some wood, and keep it rolling. Eagles, their defense is picking it up from the start of the season. They seem to be kind of like where they were last year, where they started out okay-ish and then kind of fell off the face of the earth. They just don't jump out to me when looking at elite teams, but they can still get it done with Saquon's doing what he's doing. So I think it'll be a closer game than what they're predicting. I'm going to say the Rams get an upset win in this one.
That's what I'm going with too. I like the way they're rolling. Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, exactly what you would expect. Puka, just no more fights, buddy. Don't do that. That was a soft rep that threw him out anyway. Kyron, exciting. The Eagles feel like they're more of like a 6-4 or something, but they don't feel like an 8-2 team. I don't know. It's hard to put my finger on or my finger in, but it's they're 8-2 and they don't feel like they should be. I feel like they're missing like a piece to be 8-2. I don't know, but yeah, I definitely like that Rams offense. They're also coming off of a hot game and everything, but yeah, that's the way I'm going. I think the Rams win. I think maybe they even could be -3.
The Eagles are kind of like the Chiefs. You don't know how their record is what it is for both those teams.
Damn straight.
So last one is Ravens and Chargers. That's your Monday night matchup. Ravens coming off a quiet matchup with the Steelers where they lose, and all your fantasy assets just kind of had a really boring night. And the Chargers, Will Dissly, yeah,
That's your boy.
That's my boy. I think I might start Will Dissly next week. Why not? And so do the Ravens find their old ways, get everyone back involved, or do the Chargers know the secret sauce that the Steelers know to bottle them up?
I am excited to see another Harbaugh matchup here.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
You also got the backfield for the Chargers, all ex-Ravens players.
Revenge game.
There's some interesting dynamics here with this game here. So Chargers, as I alluded to a little bit earlier, they're kind of a sneaky team. They're starting to put all the pieces together. They're, what if it is Will Dissly? He is the secret to unlocking this offense here.
That was all they needed.
I ended up starting him this past weekend and worked out pretty well for me.
Same.
But that was the one league I actually won in, and I won the award for the lowest points scored in a win. So there's that.
I hate that award.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck that guy. Like, especially if you lost and you put up more points.
Well, especially when you put up the second lowest points and you end up getting that win, it just works out perfect. But Ravens traveling cross country to LA for this matchup, and um, if Herbert's able to play like he played against the Bengals, against his Ravens soft defense, I think we should have a pretty high scoring matchup here. We saw what Joe Burrow was able to do in the second half against the secondary for the Chargers. So, um, you know what I'm going to call this game?
Hey,
Oh, there it is.
touchdown!
This is going to be a piggy bank game. I'm going to call touchdowns galore. Start all your dudes in this game. Ladidi McConkey, start him up. Quentin Johnson, if you got him. What is it? Will Disley? What are we doing?
Oh, wow.
We got the Big D, Will Disley. We got Dicker the kicker. Fire up all your guys, and Justin Tucker maybe sit his ass because he missed a couple kicks last week. But
I'm Boots Donnelly.
What the hell?
don't start Boots. Boots is a bit old for the game this time of year. So, start all your dudes though. Derrick Henry's got out there. I don't know how I feel about the Chargers backfield. Kind of similar to the Denver's backfield. Not sure who's really getting the touches out there. So, just kind of pay attention to that. But overall, I'm excited to watch this game from a viewer standpoint at least, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I don't like either of the Harbaugh brothers, but anyway, they've been surprising this year. So I think the Chargers and normally, and I'm not a fan of a lot of the Chargers offense, but they're putting up points. So I just don't have any shares. But if someone has just kidding Dobbins or Gus the Goddard Bus Edwards, if they have either of those and they're like on the fence between them and someone else that's like pretty close, go for it. It's a revenge game. The things happen whenever you go against your former team, and the Harbaughs seem to be all into that sort of thing. So they're going to reward them. It's on national TV. The lights are bright. I don't know how to feel about Zay Flowers. He is the wide receiver 8 on the year, which is crazy to me. It doesn't feel like he's been wide receiver 8, but maybe it's because he was a little down last week. But he still gets things done. So maybe we see a little Mandrews action. I don't remember if you love him or hate him anymore, but
yeah,
I don't know.
He didn't do much this past week, and I started him over Njoku, who absolutely destroyed Andrew's performance. So he's back on my list.
Yeah. I feel like Andrews is either in 2 locations. He's eating McNuggets at the local McDonald's, or he's sitting in the local Sleep Number store on a bed. So he's doing one of those 2 things, or maybe he even just eats his 11th McNugget in the Sleep Number bed because it just flows right through. That's Mark Andrews. He's just doing all those things every week. But yeah, I don't know. I think that sums him up pretty good. But who knows? Maybe he starts eating an 11th McNugget this week.
Okay. Well, that was the week that was. That is the week that is coming. Literally to a TV near you, into your lap. So get a towel. You're gonna need it. Welcome to our new watchers this week. Appreciate it. We're trying to grow the channel, so make sure you tell everyone you know. If someone taps you on the shoulder.
For this special message from Duke's Mayonnaise.
These commercials just keep coming out of nowhere. But well, let's get out of here. So, Dr. Dry, help us leave this podcast.
I want you guys to remember 5 things. Make sure you live, laugh, love, like, subscribe. Fifth Quarter Fantasy Cast. Oh.